Hello everybody, welcome to Dark Souls Remastered. I'm really excited to get on this. I am going to be rolling with my most comfortable way of playing this game. So I'm going to go with the Sorcerer I've named Our Lady Sorcerer Andraste. For those that don't know, I mean obviously we've heard the name in Dragon Age before, but that is the ancient English god of war, which is who I'm naming this character after. We are going to be pretty destructive by the end of this playthrough. God of the Sorcerer, that's my favourite playstyle. In comparison to some of the other games that may or may not suit your style. Obviously the spells are a lot more limited in this game. I'm just going to turn the game sound on my headset so I don't shout at you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, moving on. Gift Master Key. Mostly the obvious choice. I'm really not that much of a fan of the rest of these. The only other one, if you're doing like kind of a big strength build, that I could see being an option is the Black Firebomb. And I'll explain about that in more detail later on as to why you would want those. But the item that you can get with those, you can get later on anyway by doing New Game Plus, so it's not really much of an issue. Go for the average body size. Very little in the way of customization here, although I didn't actually have a look at the customization button. Just looking a bit poor in the old face there. Oh, can we do that? Here we go. Let's see if we can find a better one. That's better. I wonder if we can save it. Probably not. Trying to get. I mean, I'm barely going to see it. We're going to be in Hollow for a lot of the time anyway, probably. Although I'll try not to be. It's also worth noting we're going to be playing in. Oh wow, some of these faces are hilarious. Oh come on. Oh no! I've done it now. Default. There we go. Wow, she's got a proper double chin. That's funny. Cool. Right, I'm just going to go with that because I don't want to mess around with that too much. So let's get into the game, guys. Sorry, I just wanted to give you an overview of how the character was. I'm going to be quiet now.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skills. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. Seeth the scaleless betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side.
And so our adventure begins. Let's get this bit of time if we can. Game is looking somewhat nicer.
Indeed. The dark side brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Oh yeah, so this does look a lot nicer. The item little icon thing there was literally he's got some strange textures on his face there then. Yeah, let's go. Little item wisp. Oh. What's happening here? Sorry guys. Controls. Y-axis. There we go. Haha. Sorry guys, have to have it inverted. So continuing on with what we were talking about earlier, I'm going to try and not shout down the microphone. I had to try to make the voice a little bit louder along with the game sound. But what it does mean is obviously during quieter times, my voice is probably going to be quite prevalent. Of course we're active. Now, if you want to, feel free to kill these guys. As you can see, you do acquire a small amount of souls. Honestly, I don't think it's worth your time. I just thought I'd show you that you can. Obviously, we are currently equipped with a broken weapon, and that is not a great thing to be attacking people with. More importantly, though, we're going to be heading up this ladder, where we can go and approach our first bonfire. Now, for those of you that are veterans of the series, you know what, we shouldn't have been able to see that person, because I was sure we were in offline mode. Start offline, yes. That's interesting. Oh yeah, first trophy. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm getting so distracted just because we're moving around. I am going to treat everybody that views this as if it's your first time entering the series. If that happens to be the case, welcome to Dark Souls, guys. I'm going to attempt to make your journey through this game considerably easier. Now, just while we're opening this door, I'm so sorry about that, guys. Now, whilst we're opening this door, we are going to get a boss fight begin here that you can try to take on immediately. I wouldn't recommend it. He is kind of, I'm not going to say overpowered. We are going to face him anyway. But that is the point where having the black firebombs can be useful, because you can just throw them at him, and if they all hit, you can basically just kill him. Although bear in mind, you only get one chance of that, because the black firebombs will not restore should you die part of the way through that. Doing that will get you an item, but it's an item that's not particularly useful to this character anyway, because it's I can't remember what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's his weapon. It's like a big giant club thing. But instead, we're going to come around here. Where is... oh, the weapon's further up, isn't it? Right. So this is kind of the tutorial of here's a shield, learn to block. Now I actually start with the parry shield, which is pretty cool. Now bear in mind that most shields in this game actually have 100% block, which is different to a lot of the other games. Obviously this then gives us the dagger. Not that much better, to be honest, than the weapon that we already had. So we're going to go ahead and use this. What was I saying anyway? Okay, we'll go over bonfires once we get into somewhere we can actually start using them properly. Get out. Now, of course, the good thing about the dagger is, should you circle around an enemy and get the backstab on them, it will actually do pretty good damage. But other than that, it's not the most ideal of weapons. You're going to see an item up here. Don't worry about that for now. We are going to come back to this area not that far in the future. We are going to come back here pretty soon. Careful here, as that has the potential to kill you. Nope, missed it. I'm going to attempt to go to parry, so let's get back on it. So there we go. Circle around after attack for a backstab. Totally failed that parry there. That was really bad. Right, we're going to go into this guy.
You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I were both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Absolutely.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission, but perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family: thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask, an undead favorite.
Woohoo! Now we can heal 5 times.
Now
Get the key.
I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
Don't worry, Oscar. You are absolutely not going to harm me for a while. We are going to be coming back for that guy as well. So let's go over this. Again, just because I want to be thorough. Estus flasks, and indeed any other items you decide to use here, we use by using the square button. Obviously controls will get taught to you by the game. Really don't need to tell you that, don't know why I did. But the Estus flask itself is your method for healing. Let me just show you how this works. So of course we need to come down here anyway, because this is a shortcut back to the bonfire. And essentially, if I use this, that's going to heal my health. Now, of course, I only have 4 right now, but that will regenerate whenever you rest at a bonfire. Now, doing so will also reset, not only reset my my heal counter, but also the enemies in the area as well. Although I don't think the boulder regenerates in this area until you actually leave. That was actually a parable attack. I should have gone for that, really. That was what I expected to do before. Cool, so continuing on, this is where we're actually going to go into our spells. Well, not necessarily our spell, we already have that. But our means for casting them, which is going to go right, which is right here. Now, do be careful because we've got these guys coming around. Come here. Woohoo! That's one successful parry for the episode. Come on, what you got? What you get? Oh, I missed. I don't know if that's parryable. I thought I got that. There we go. Now then, let's show what the sorcerer can actually do. Now, of course, you could just try to equip that straight away, but I really don't like going into my menus when I know there's enemies pretty close by. And around this side, let me just show it. Don't really want to aggro the guy. We go have a swordsman. You can kill him, and if you kill him repeatedly, you can. I think you can get him to drop his shield and his sword if you want him to. But we're going to get plenty of chance for that later on. They're very, very easy to backstab. In fact, you know, I'm going to demonstrate that. They're very easy to backstab. Whoops, I haven't got the dagger on. That's bad. Come on, do your thing. So taking them on isn't particularly difficult. I wasn't going to do it, but I thought, you know what, let's demonstrate how you do that. And that was one of the main flaws with this game, is that a lot of the enemies that are backstabbable are very, very abusable in that way. Even some of the harder enemies in the game, although not the bosses. So onward we go with the boss. Of course, I could go and heal a little bit, but I'm not too worried. This guy isn't too bad. So make sure on the way off of that ledge, you push the attack button to trigger the plunge attack. That attack was actually introduced in this game, because obviously this did have a predecessor in Demon Souls. As you can see, our spell here is just going to take chunks off him. Just don't get too close to his strikes. We're not going to try to attack whilst we're too close to him. We're of course quite a medium range style build, although there's nothing really wrong with getting in here if you really want to. Particularly as our attacks don't actually take any stamina. But I just wouldn't recommend it. You really don't want to get hit by that one. That one would probably pancake us. Whoop! I thought I was going to get me then. But particularly as the Sorcerer, this guy is not too much of an issue. I'm just looking at the sound on my on my little recording here. I'm really hoping my voice isn't too loud. Please let me know what kind of adjustments you'd like to see. I probably should say that at the beginning. I'll say at the beginning of the next episode. Right. Carrying on then. We have a little exit. There's not really much to the immediate sides of the exit, but do keep an eye out on this left hand side. I think we've got a soul item. Where is it? Here we go. Cool, that's going to be useful pretty soon. Now, unlike in Dark Souls 2 and 3, there isn't really any form of early access to a soul boost. And the other thing you may notice if you are a returning player is you only actually have 2 ring slots. And particularly as a new player, one of those is definitely going to be taken up by an obvious ring, which I'm sure most of you know about by now.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Cool, and that is the Undead Asylum complete. So, from this point onwards, guys, in this episode anyway, it's going to be pretty optional. You will need the master key to follow all of the way that we are going to be going, although some of it you will actually be able to access even without it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. I can't remember if the gear was on your back in the original intros. I think that's new. Lordran level up Kindle Bonfires. Yep. So here we're going to pick up some humanity. We have a little bit of that now, and I'll introduce that shortly. There are quite a few people playing, which is nice. We have this guy to talk to, who's going to have some pretty interesting dialogue for us.
What do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The
Someone's ringing it now.
Far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
Yep. it would appear that it's very active right now. So the bell being rung is one of those little quirky kind of multiplayer things that Dark Souls has, where when you ring the bell, people that are kind of connected to you, there's like a loose kind of connection between players and game. People that are connected to you will hear them ringing the bell, so that's kind of cool. What was I thinking? Ah yes, I need to go up here. We have Petrus to talk to. This guy's going to sell you your first miracles. If you start out as one of the strength characters, most of those actually have the faith to use some of these. And talking to this guy can actually net you some. Let's get into some dialogue. I don't know how much you guys want to keep in of the dialogue. He's going to give us the copper coin, which doesn't really do much.
So wood.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes. Obviously, we don't actually have a covenant yet, so no reason not to do this.
Now.
And here we have miracles. We have learn gesture, so we're going to go and grab that. And we have, as I was saying, the rudimentary miracle stuff. I don't really use miracles very much. I'm not really a big fan of the whole faith build thing. So, unfortunately, I'm not that knowledgeable on that particular subject. Anyway, next up, we probably should have spent our souls because I'm probably going to die here. So, in retrospect, that's something that I should have done. But not to worry, it's only 2,000. I mean, it is a fair chunk at this point of the game, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not really something to be worrying about. And here we have a load of chests. Obviously, unless you absolutely know whether or not a chest is not a mimic, feel free to give them a tap and make sure. Morning Star, very strong starter weapon if you have the strength to use it. I unfortunately do not. And I probably won't for a few episodes. I'm going to be trying to concentrate on the sorcery side of the build for now. Until we get to the Claymore, at which point I'm probably going to try and spec to use that. We're going to get chased by loads of skeletons, as you're going to see. Try to avoid getting hit by them because they do cause bleed. We're not actually here to fight them, we're just here to collect some items. This is all optional stuff you don't have to get, but these soul items are going to give us a little boost early on, which is why we're going to go ahead and grab them. And there is in fact a route that you can take even further into this area to get some other pretty cool items, but I'm not going to be doing that. Some binoculars if you want to take a closer look at stuff. They do not unfortunately work like the... Ouch! Oh, you one-shot me. Damn! We're going to go back down there. I do want to get all the items, so that is going to happen. Unfortunately, I apologise for the faffing around. Lead time is a bit longer than I was expecting to be there. Now, at the end of that little run, you would actually usually come back through this way, so this kind of gives me a little show of that. Ooh. There is like a way. Oh, yeah, there we go. Got a way up there. That's gonna be a night up there. That's fine. Cool. So let's go along the top area, and then hopefully we can grab all the items along this little side without aggroing all of the rest. This guy's gonna stand up, so get in quick. If I can get down here quickly enough, I can grab my souls. Trying to get hit by this guy again. Quick! Oh my god! No, no, no! Got me again. I was sure I rolled out of the way of that. It is in a better place now, though, so I'm going to go ahead and grab those souls. 2k is going to be worth it for the beginning stretch of this game. Sorry, guys, that's 2 deaths on the bounce. I hate that. I don't usually die down there, which is interesting. But as I said, I probably should have just I should have just spent those souls before I did this. So in retrospect, guys, that's exactly what I recommend you guys do. This should be somewhat easier now because we should have got to essentially run past all of this. Let's recoup some stamina here. And as you might imagine, the biggest issue that I have right now is the amount of stamina. Where are my souls gone? There they are. Right, let's get around here. Be aware of their attacks probably will clip through the wall if you get stuck behind here, which is bad. Right, I don't know why they stayed so far down there. That was... Nope. Wow. Where did my invincibility frames go? I suppose that was a jump more than a roll, but never mind. Anywho, up to the top. We've now got everything that I wanted from that little area. Around here. Now the skeletons can chase you quite far. Take you before I jump off. I don't want an untimely death right there because that would be pretty bad. I'm going to jump over this little thing and then rest here. That'll reset the skeletons. And we've got everything that we wanted. And basically what we're going to do, and apparently we can now use these in bulk, so let's go ahead and chomp on some of these. That is definitely nice and convenient. Cool. Is that all? Do we not have any more? No, that's it. Okay. So a few souls to use. Not achievement. All of that is going to go on endurance. Endurance is probably the most important stat in this game. So staying at 8, which is our lowest stat, is absolutely not going to be good for us. Now, basically the reason it's so overpowered, can I... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I must be pressing the wrong buttons. How do I get it? Nope. What? Ah, there we go, right. So, endurance levels up your equip load and your stamina. Now, in later iterations of the game, they split these up onto separate stats because having it all on this one stat is incredibly powerful. This is going to allow us to carry more weaponry and armor, and this is essentially going to give us more actions. Now, as a caster, this is even cooler because our spells don't take up stamina. So between that and a good weapon, we have quite a good potential for damage over time, so that's pretty good. But more importantly, doing that is going to save us some time for the rest of the optional areas of this game, just because we can sprint more now. So we are going to go ahead and run straight down here. Also, the other thing to note is that armor does not have any, as far as I'm aware anyway, it doesn't have any strength requirements or anything like that. So with enough in your endurance, you can basically wear anything without having to worry about your strength or dexterity stats. Unlike some of the later areas, unlike some of the later games in the series. Wow, I really can't talk this morning. Whew. I'm just looking at the thing now, we're probably approaching the half-an-hour mark. I'm going to try and keep the videos between 30 and 60 minutes. I'm going to aim for 45, but I don't think I'm going to get all of this done in time. That's a nice big chunk of souls right there, which is good. None of these enemies here are really going to be aggressive to us. They don't cause... well, I should have sent that lift back up because I'm going to die in a second on purpose. We have the S-stock. I'll break that. This can give us transient curses. I wouldn't use these right now, but essentially as we go across this bridge... oh man, this is going terribly for a first episode. As we go across this bridge, we are going to get attacked by ghosts, and unless you are cursed or affected by the transient curse, which we've just picked up, they will basically circumvent all of your defences. So your armor and your shield won't count for anything in terms of your defensive capability against them, and as well as that, you will not be able to damage them. And that is the reason we are here. I really don't care about my 23 souls. They can have those. Now the Firekeeper Soul allows us to upgrade the level of our Estus flasks. So that's very, very powerful. We definitely want that. And we can actually do that right now. So we're going to go ahead down here, talk to this lady here. You may have missed her. She doesn't actually say anything just yet. And we can reinforce the Estus flask. So, even without the Master Key, we are already in a fairly strong position, in my opinion. Of course, you could go ahead and use the soul item if you want to, but I'm not going to use that right now. We're going to use that later, because we're going to get quite a few more of them to help boost our early game power. Of course, this is basically just borrowing souls from later in the game, but having it all early is going to make for an easier ride, basically. Now, as you're seeing, I might as well have sent this lift up, because we're going to have to wait for it to come back up now. Muffle me, eh? So down here I have some more things to show you. There's an NPC, and then we are finally going to go ahead and use the master key. I'm probably going to give a fair warning about a part of this, which I'm unsure as to which direction I'm going to go in. Basically, in a moment, there is a lot of stuff down here that we can access really early. Where are we? So down this way, and of course, if you really want easy souls, you can just farm souls off of these, but I really wouldn't recommend it. It's not particularly fast at all. And here.
Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head. And more importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't pry. I'm Ricky of Vinheim.
Ricky of Vinheim.
Established Smith. Look at me now.
Hmm.
Can you believe it? What is it?
Let's get through this dialogue. You guys will have to let me know if you want me to leave dialogue in. I am way too impatient. But he's pretty interesting guy. So first up, we are now able to reinforce our armor and weapons directly through this guy. Now the enemies in the area that we are meant to be going through will drop the items that are required to do this, but we don't have any right now. You can also modify equipment, so once we get embers, which we will discuss once we actually pick one up, be able to change the abilities and parameters of our weapon, and I do intend on using that to my advantage later on. And more importantly for us as a mage, if you happen to have the souls, I don't right now, you can go ahead and get yourself some extra soul arrows. I prefer the normal soul arrow over the heavy. The heavy is a longer cast time for some extra damage. It's not bad if you kind of have the drop in your enemy, but I am not a fan. I much prefer the faster casting speed of the soul arrow. So we probably will try and save 2,000 souls to grab an extra instance on that, because that will give us 60 casts. Because every time we equip a copy of the spell, and I'll go over that once we get some attunement and I can show it properly. So there we go. There we have more soul items, and this is where the path diverges a little bit. Now there is a temptation to go down this right path and just totally, absolutely make this early part of the game really easy. But the last time I did that, it triggered something that I didn't want it to. In terms of, you know, this game being kind of aimed at being kind of an easier method to get through the game rather than a harder one. So we will circumvent that. Feel free to go down there. There are some really good items, especially as a caster. You can get another Firekeeper Soul, and you can get the Crimson set, which is just entirely superior to almost anything else we could pick up right now. That is apart from the armor set that we're going to pick up down here. Now, careful of this guy. If you try to pick up the items that he is guarding through here, he's likely to kill you. In fact, I'm likely to die a few times over the course of this episode, and as you can see, people have died here already. You just need to be quick. And somewhat lucky. It's probably going to get me with whatever it is spewing out everywhere. That last one I think is a soul item. I've been lucky enough to not die. I'm going to come back and grab that. Probably whilst I'm waiting for this video to render, because it will take a bit of time for the video to render before the next episode. So I'll grab that and then show exactly what it is in the next episode. There is a little right hand turn in here where you can get some extra humanity, but I'm not interested in that at all. Oh, he's going to knock me off! That is millions of levels of unfair right there. Got caught in his tail. Alright, okay then guys. I apologise for that. I should have sent the lift back up again. We have to wait for that. Anywho, once we get past that little ledge, which is difficult, and there is absolutely... I don't say there's no reason, but once we get past there, we essentially break the game. So it's not required by any stretch of the imagination. I just enjoy, you know, making sure that we get the best chance. We're actually going to get the best armor set in the game, although it does take work to get it there where it needs to be. Because in this game you can upgrade armors, unlike in later versions of the game where they kind of have set stats. You can upgrade your armor in this game, which does put you on some level of God mode. Hopefully I can get down there and past it this time around, just because I don't want this video to go over now, and we are approaching the what, 45-minute area. I'm going to send it back up this time. So to send the lift back up, you just have to run across the button there. And that'll just save me a bit of time if I happen to die again. Which would have to be a cut. If I do die again, I'm going to have to cut back to it, which would be pretty messy and kind of frustrating for upload timings, but if that's what I've got to do, that's what I've got to do, right? Now I don't know if this thing, yeah, this thing should still be awake. There is a way to cheese this guy, and I probably am going to show it later on. And basically, it just involves if you can get, once you get access to poison arrows, you can pling poison arrows at him, and he'll die just from the poison damage, and you won't actually even have to fight it. This is probably going to be pretty difficult for us to run past this point now. Grab that wasp really. Oh no, he got me! I shouldn't have done it. That's what I get for being greedy. Right, okay then guys, so I'm going to cut to me running across the inner sector. Run, quickly, quickly, run! This time I haven't got an item to get distracted by, so we're good. Hopefully this time I don't get caught in the thing's tail. So, I mean, really, the main threat is this one that's on the path here. Once you kind of get past this one, you're all right. Just preserve some stamina. Go, 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 go. He's aggroed. He's aggroed. Nope. Quick, quick. Yeah, we've done it. We've done it. We have done it. Don't count your chickens for the catch, because this guy could still catch us, but it's unlikely now. We are gone. See you later. Now, if you wanted more stuff, you could go down there and grab an extra arm set, but I am not going to go and show that. Sorry. It is the Wanderer set, and you do get a really cool shield called the Spider Shield, which is quite useful later on in the game, but we're going to get one before we need it anyway. Makes you immune to poison, which is good. We're not immune, but it can block poison, basically, which is really, really good. And here we have a new bonfire and a new area to explore. Ooh. Ooh. Also more souls. If you are persistent. We should have enough cast to kill this guy. We have a pretty powerful enemy that really you probably shouldn't mess with at this point in the game. Where is he? He's aggroed on us already. He's gonna... Oh, we really don't do very much damage to him. Now really the best way to kill this guy is to backstab him. I'm just going to soften him up a little bit. There's really not much point in me blocking. He's just going to go straight through my shield, which is kind of crazy. But here we go. Bam! And as I was saying before, that really is the weakness of a lot of these enemies. I'm just going to keep on tickling him with soul arrow as well, if he's going to let me. Particularly as he won't come into this little hole, which is quite handy for me. Yeah, he really can't come in. Haha. I am the cheesemonger! And at this point, if I'd have taken an extra instance of soul arrow, this would be a done thing. But near enough is now. Ouch. Stop that. Yes, keep coming down this way. I want you further down here. Come on. Well, the weirdly done for shield is making a difference. Whoops. Ha! That was hilarious. I'm going to take a heal here. I'm going to explain why I've got 10 Estus flasks in a moment. Whoops. Come on. You are being really, really, like, passive. This is not what you expect from a Black Knight. There we go, that's more like it. Now, of course, the quick way to kill him is if you can chuck him off the edge like that. He's going to die. There we go, blue titanite chunk. Excellent. It's actually the kind of titanite chunk that we need as well. Grass Crest Shield. My personal 100% favourite shield. I don't know if I have... No, I don't have the strength to use it yet, so I can't use it properly. But equipping that shield would increase our stamina regeneration. Which is just brilliant. Now then, I don't know if that is all we got from that Black Knight, so what I'm actually going to do, and he does not regenerate by the way, he's a one-time enemy in this area, and there are a few of them that are like that. I'm actually going to quit out the game, just in case he dropped his weapon. Now you can increase the likelihood of him dropping his weapon, and that is probably one of the strongest weapons in the game that he has right there. So be aware of that. If you are looking for a really, really strong weapon, he can be a good place to get it. although you only get one chance. So nope, he didn't drop it, so that's fine. And obviously it is kind of a strength weapon, so be aware of that. It's obviously not going to be good for this build, but overall it is quite a brutal thing to own, particularly early in the game. But we are practically home free now. I don't think there's anything in particular that's going to really badly kill me. There's a strong temptation to go and grab some of the stuff over there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that for its own video. You can go really far because of the master key at this point, because you can go past there. There's a lot of really strong enemies down there, but if you're lucky enough to be able to run past it all, there's a ladder and you can get past a load of enemies for the enchanted ember, which will basically allow us to make our intelligence stat scale damage for us. But as awesome as that is, I really don't think that's... I mean, I think I've already made this a bit complicated for some newcomers to follow as it is, so I really don't want to make that worse. Make sure you get this guy. This guy does respawn, so don't worry if he disappears, but you do want to make sure you get him. Yeah. He's going to drop us some more large Titanite shards. That's fantastic. We definitely want those. There is kind of an RNG element there, so you may not get the same things that I got. But those 2 large Titanite shards are going to be grand. I feel like I've missed something. What have I missed? I'm sure there's like... Yeah, there it is. Down there is a bow. We're going to grab that. It's actually better than the one that we can purchase. So that's why I want it. I don't know why I didn't see it when I was here. They're heading over the ridge. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So we've got the leather set and the longbow. Don't think the leather set offers any more protection than what we're already wearing. I suppose it's worth a look. I've only got the sorcerer's hat. I really don't like the sorcerer's hat. It does offer a little bit more protection at the expense of twice the weight. So it's probably not worth it. And I'll go over roll speeds as well once we've got a bit more armor at our disposal, so I can kind of show how you may or may want to set your may or may not want to set your character up. I personally prefer the faster rolls to the defense, just because it's a lot more useful. This episode is going to end up a lot more longer than I was anticipating, but that's fine. Cool. So, quite a few dangerous enemies. Do be careful. They're not too bad. They have no what people in the game would call poise, and so attacking them will knock them out of any attack animation that they happen to start up. But they do cause quite a lot of damage. There's an item behind that rock just there, which is the glow that we just saw. I'm not going to grab that right now. I'm going to wait until we can reset all these guys. And to do that, we're going to run all the way down here. Cool. Now, don't worry about this boss fight here. There is no boss in this particular boss fog. And these guys will actually start fleeing. I'm actually going to kill this one. Now, what he's doing there is what we call leashing. Basically, he has reached the end of where he's allowed to go according to the game. Pretty nice item there, although the purple blooming ones are actually probably a lot better. Before we continue through this little area, because it is quite dangerous, we're going to go ahead and uncover ourselves a little secret boss fight. Wow, for some reason my fish tank has just started making loads of noise. That's really weird. Right, hopefully that's not making too much of an issue on the video. I'm going to try and fix that before the next one. So, quick rest. That'll mean 2 things. Obviously, we're going to come back here if we die, and well, just heals me a little bit and resets all my soul arrows. Now, through here, quite a lot of tough enemies, so do be careful. Particularly as we don't actually have a very good melee weapon yet. There is a weapon down this left-hand side. I think it's a spear. Be careful about these little snakes. Look. Quick. Ouch. We're poisoned. That's not good. Here we have more enemies. Now, if like me, you're thinking, oh, you know what, this isn't worth it, just go ahead and head back to the bonfire and reset the situation. I'm trying not to use the heat. You know what, I don't care. Do it. As you can see, poison can be a pretty annoying issue if you don't solve it. This is actually a pretty good bonfire to kindle now that I think about it, but we're not going to be doing that in this episode. I actually need to save. That's the way back. There's still stuff I want to get from down here. We actually need to save 30 humanity for some of the upcoming areas, so not going to be spending too much of that just yet. Now then, the next very, very good item around here is this one. Now be aware that doing this is going to aggro a lot of enemies. This is the Elite Knight set. That's probably the best armor in the game. It does, when fully upgraded, have the highest defense value. So that is going to absolutely be very good if you want to be a bit more survivable. As you might imagine, even if you're the knight, that is actually even better for you. And by the time we've got a couple of pretty cool rings, we'll actually be able to equip that probably. Take a quick rest here to unaggro all that stuff. And then we're actually going to have to fight some of these guys in a minute. I really wish I'd gotten a better weapon. I probably could have spent some of these souls as well, but we're fine. Now for some reason this tree here, like, it's killable, it's alive, doesn't really do anything other than make noises at you. Come on. I really am not strong enough to be around here, really. And I'm really, really starting to wish I got that extra set of soul arrows. I'm going to have to do that, I think. Particularly now that we can afford it. Cool. So continuing on, we're going to get this guy. They look really, really poisonous, but I've never kind of had any with them. I can only assume that there is something really bad that they do, but I've just never really allowed them to do it. Here we have another tree, but it's not quite so not so well positioned. There is, where is it? There's an item around here. I think it's just a soul item. There's nothing particularly amazing in this little wooded area. But there is a knight over on the right hand side. We are actually going to have to deal with him. Ouch! They do a lot of damage. I really don't want to die here. In fact, if I die here, I may even give up on this little area. There's a lot of them. They're not particularly fast though, so if we can draw them all over this way, we can just run around them. That is perfectly fine by me. Right here we've got this. Yeah, that's all I'm good. That's probably worth more than the 2k that we actually have right here, which is good. Unfortunately, working that guy up, which you know what, thinking about it, I really probably shouldn't have done. It's actually this way that we need to go. Was there anything behind it? Let's take a look. No, it's just dead end, and I probably just killed myself. That's bad. Now, it's not actually usually but the main thing that makes that guy so dangerous is the fact that he has like a spell that can essentially increase your equip load and slow you down a crazy amount. I'm not gonna kill him if I don't have to. That is fine by me. Hopefully they'll leash down there. That'll be even better. There is one more up here, so do be careful. And then we have the wolf ring. And a shortcut back if you can make the jump. That was crazy. Right, so we're about to get mobbed by a load of these tree guys, because this is the way it brings you back up. Let's dodge them. Give us all an injured soldier, and get back through here. Just obviously keep an eye out for their attacks, and then evade at the correct time, you should be fine. Try to stay on the left side here, but I'm going to be brave and go on the right hand side, just in case. And then now there's only one left for us to run past, and we should be okay. Cool, we are almost home free, guys. I promise. We have one obstacle left. This guy is pretty mean. So again, try not to get hit by this guy either if you are following this crazy optional path. We're going to stay well away from him. Try not to run in like a direct line from him either, because he's winding up for it now. Didn't fire it, cool. So he does fire lightning. And here we have another blacksmith.
Well,
who can do similar things to the other guy. Except for he uses different embers. So some of the different blacksmiths, they all have their own little quirks and things they do. You can buy upgrade stones from him. We can buy these little goodies, which allows us to do some menial upgrades at the bonfire and repair weaponry, which will become more important later. The big thing that you want from him is the Crest of Victorious, but that's going to be much later on. Could go ahead and get a longsword. I do not meet the requirements for it though. So I literally have no better weapons that I can use right now.
I'll be seeing you.
But at this point, there really isn't all that much that's going to stop us from reaching our way back to Firelink Shrine, which is the beginning area. I'm going to leave having a look around all of these other areas for later. There's an NPC down there that we can talk to that a lot of people really like. In fact, I really like him as well. Named Seekmeyer. If you've played Dark Souls 3, you'll remember Seekvard. He's very similar. And then we're just basically going to run across this way. Now, if you are quick enough, which I'm probably going to show right now. I'm going to aggro this guy out. Roll past him. That was close. Grab that. For another fire, keep us all. I'll walk down here like this. And get on here. Now, this has given us early access to a rather large portion of the game. And to show something else as well, you can actually roll off of this. We're not going to be doing this until later, but you can roll off this, come over here. And there are a series of steps that go up there. You get the key from over there as well. And that allows us to go back to the tutorial area. Now, I wouldn't advise doing that right now. I really don't think that is a good idea, to be honest, particularly with the boss fight that's there and some of the enemies that will have appeared. Although it is a very good way of getting some pretty strong items early on if you really wanted to. But with that done, let's do some leveling up. So first up, we have got you. A menial 800. There is a temptation to go and get those extra soul arrows. We really don't need them this early in the game, so it's not a problem. 2,000 from those. And then a few thousand from these. There we go. We have a 9,000 soul head start. Good. We are desperate for health. We definitely want to get that to at least 10. I'm going to take that to 15 because that's a good idea. I really would have liked to get that to 20. And that's an extra 5 points to intelligence, just to increase our soul arrow damage. And I think that's a pretty good start, actually. It's actually a very, very strong sorcerer for the earlier areas of the game. We've got a good amount of endurance. We're going to go ahead and upgrade our Estus flasks back here. Yes, please. There we are. Now then, let's talk about Estus flasks before we end. In fact, no, I'll do it at the beginning of the next episode, because I think then more people will probably see it rather than having lost the interest of watching this far. If you had made it this far, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next episode.